Hello, I'm IBX Toycat and welcome back to another Let's Play video. I usually say Toycat on this channel, but you know, I can say whatever I want at the start, even though in this case it was just me making mistakes. So hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and it's fairly early in the morning actually. It's actually at 1:07 PM. But you know, that's early in the morning as far as we're concerned for the purpose of today's video. And yeah, I figured let's play some Far Cry Vietnam, because I finally figured out, I don't know like how I didn't realize this the entire time, so my bad. But on the map, it actually shows off all the locations of all the lighters, of all the stuff like that. So we're going to do a run through the map, trying to get back to there, but going for the little lighters along the way, as well as like AA guns. And basically, we're going to do all the little small things that we maybe missed out before now. So yeah, should be a bit of fun, and that's what today's episode is going to be about. Cleaning up all the stuff, because I want to get the 100% or like, not necessarily even 100%, but just the best ending possible. That postcard I think was at the end, has made it worthwhile to me to be like, you know, let's go for a bit more effort. Let's get that ending screen a bit better. And you know, if we go for an hour worth or like 2.5 hours, I think we're probably going to be at by now of effort to get so, then that's fine. So yeah, we're going to look for some lighters, run back to the MVA camp from the very beginning. I put my tracker on it, so that's a thing we're kind of heading towards today, and it's going to be kind of fun. So this is probably going to be a bit more of a chill time with Toycat episode. If I'm being entirely honest with you, I am like the mildest bit like hungover, so it's like, okay, my brain is not operating on all cylinders. But maybe recording a video is the best way to make it operate. There's a body right there. There we go. Get that lighter. Move on. We got 2 out of the 8, and we're going to avenge his death. We're going to give the lighter to his family, or whatever the point of that's even meant to be. Also, I just realized, rather than using stealth, I could just, you know, I'll use stealth. So, I think actually, you know, right now, no one even expects this, right? It's just a much easier way than using actual stealth methods, in my opinion. And then we snipe just like this. Oh, and before he knows it, he's gone. So, yeah, we're going to go to the second lighter. Again, we're going to try and just clean up all the speakers, the lighters, the stuff like that. So we have to go right here, and then we take a left. And that's how we're going to get this one done. Sounds kind of fun to me, at least. Oh, and there's also the commander there, but we'll get that on the way back. So for now, let's head to the right. Let's find another lighter. And yeah, today's all about the cleanup, which is an important thing. I think, you know, cleaning up is like one of those things, like, you know, like finishing something up. I think I said this in a previous Let's Play, or maybe in a video, maybe a stream, but like the first 95% or the first 90% is just as hard as the last 10% in a lot of cases. And but there's a lot of places where like, because that's only true for like a lot of things, the things where it's not true, I feel like they're really satisfying for when you're having problems with that. Like sometimes, if I'm having issues like, you know, finishing up a video, like making it perfect, you know, like if there's an idea, I'm like, I've got, you know, 9 things, a list of 10, I just can't think of the 10, or something, you know, like that, where it's like, oh, I can't use what I've got so far about the other 10%. What I like to do is I like to do something like I have to clean my own dishes or do some laundry, because it's just as simple as like it all happens at once. It's a linear task. And I think it's kind of weird that like you can trick your brain that way. Like if you're having issues with one type of task, just do an entirely different type of task in your brain, and you'll probably be fine. It'll probably reset something. And I think that's why so many people, because I used to you know, I used to stay at my girlfriend's obviously it's now ex-girlfriend, but my then girlfriend's house a fair amount. Like I think it was one day of the week after college, I'd go there, I'd stay there 2 days, and then go to college 2 days after. It's like a nice little, you know, use of my day for the week that was free. Which, you know, I wish I had more stuff that I, you know, more time I could do stuff like that with these days. But my point, I'm digressing a little bit. But so yeah, one of the things I do is go around to her house, and her stepdad was just like he you know, like he didn't do too much, but he was obsessed with doing the dishes, which is something where I didn't figure that was a thing anyone could be, right? Like you don't assume anyone wants to do them. You assume it's a thing that some people have to do. But he's like, oh, let me do those dishes. And he's like, no, it's good. I'll save you. And it's like, nah, I'm gonna do it. And at first, I just thought, you know, he's an insane man. That's just what that is. But as I again progress into the world of weird tasks that don't make sense as a job, it does make you realize that, like, you know, sometimes you need something simple, which is why, you know, I'm sure this would actually be terrible. Like, I'd enjoy doing this for a day, but like, I think I'd like working on a farm for like a day or two. In fact, I like variety in a lot of different things. Like, I think that's how my brain operates, and how. Oh, there's 2 lighters. There's one to the left and there's one forwards. We'll get the one that's forwards and come back to the one on the left later. But yeah, basically, so like, I think I'd love working on a farm doing some physical work, because there's like satisfactory end of thing goals. Like, you know, satisfying, there's like a human part of the brain that just likes to do stuff, right? Like, I don't know when I don't know when I discovered this, but like for the longest time. Also, there's the lighter. Found it already, unless that's an enemy. I think it's the friend though, right? There we go. Oh no, that is an enemy. It's impressive that the body stayed here this whole time though, right? So let's go find the ally after we shoot this guy dead, of course. Sorry, you're just in the wrong place, wrong time. So somewhere around here, there is a lighter. I saw the body in the tree, but I missed it. So yeah, it's kind of funny. This is just basically body hunt. And the parachute kind of gives away most of it. There we go. There's the guy. Easy as that. I'm really good at this right here. Because having the lighters is definitely just as good as saving a life or two. So, yeah, but going back to what I was saying. I think, yeah, it's something I think about a lot. Like that. What we should do is we should have, like, little farm retreats for cities and, like, bus people out every now and then. Because even though I live in one of the busiest cities in the world, like, so many people commute in and out every day. And it's like, you know, it's a whole nightmare. Pro tip, if you ever visit London, try, like, one time, only one time, because you're a jerk if you do it regularly. One time, try and go, like, you know, through one of the major train stations. I recommend King's Cross or something like that, at either 9 AM when people are coming in, or 5 PM when people are coming out. It's like a scary number of people all doing this exact same task that have worked that same, you know, 8-hour shift, I think it would be. I think it's 9 to 5, the normal working hours for a city man, right? I could be mistaken. Oh, I'm really bad at this today. There we go. Okay, I lost my stealth perks. But that's not important. But, yeah, so I feel like what we should have is, like, especially because I know in America there's, like, cities that are like that, but even more insane. And, you know, there's some places in the world, in the third world especially, where it's like, oh my god, what even is living here? And if you're doing, like, a deeply technological job, or you're doing, like, a service-based job, like, you know, you're waiting tables all day or something, then I feel like, you know, having, like, a little farm retreat where it's like, guess what? We'll pay you this amount, just go hammer some things. Because right now, a lot of the, I think most farming is done by people from, oh, there we go, got a propaganda speaker, all right. It's mostly done by people who, you know, come to the country for that, because it's a mildly lucrative thing, you know, to do physical labor, which everyone can do, like, yeah. You know, that's just how it is, right? So, what you could do, because I feel like there's a shortage, there's always a shortage of people who want to work on farms, because it's an old style thing, you know? So what you do is you're like, okay, we'll bust you out for the day. We'll pay you a fair amount. Like, you know, I think I'd accept minimum wage just to, like, run around the farm for a little bit, feel like I'm actually helping out, like hammering some fence posts or something. And at the end of the day, it's like, this is yours. We'll even name it after you, because then obviously, like, I think a lot of, like, manager type people like is like some form of actualization. Feel like, you know, feeling like they've actually, you know, changed the world in some way. You know, it's one of the high level of needs that you only get in some jobs. So you're like, okay, this is the fence post. It'll always be named after you. And I know, I think that's a beautiful idea personally. So I feel like, oh, they killed the pilot. Oh, well, that says everything I need to know about that. I really shouldn't have even destroyed the speaker because it looks like the helicopter would have done it for me. I feel like I wasted bullets now. Or actually, I used the bamboo stick, didn't I? I feel like I wasted that bamboo stick. So yeah, we got all the lighters up here. I'm just going to make sure there's no ones missing around here. Because again, it's like the map, all of these things represent something. It looks like no. Unless there's one behind spawn, which would be a really, really annoying and, you know, unnecessary place to put it. It looks like we nailed it, so let's go to the camp that I forgot to secure. And let's go actually do that now. But yeah, and also another thing I've been thinking about is this rather annoying fact, because so again, last night I was somewhere that might imply that now I'm in drained energy toy cat mode. You know, maybe that's a thing you can assume. Oh, by the way, I'm recording this on like a Sunday, and I think this goes up on like a Friday, so whatever. But yeah, so I was out somewhere that might lead to a hungover toy cat, and one of the things that's ridiculous about, I guess, meeting strangers and like, yeah, let's just say that, meeting strangers, is that the whole height thing that comes up for some reason. This is okay. So, fun fact: in the UK, we measure ourselves in foot and inches. I think the only other countries that do that are like Canada, America, and then like what Liberia and Myanmar, like goddamn imperial countries. Oh, imperial is still like a double meaning there, but no, basically, I'm in the UK, even though we're metric, we use imperial units for height. I don't know why that is. I hate that. I think I've mentioned it in enough videos now, but I'll mention it again because I hate it this much. But like, they taught me in school the meter system, and then randomly, like, I start meeting people that are like, oh, you're like this many foot, and I'm like, why are you measuring yourself in feet? Man? You're like you're a human being or something. You shouldn't be measuring yourself in feet. And even though, like, when you go to theme parks, it's measured in meters, so I'd know, oh, I'm smaller than 1.4 meters because I can't go on Nemesis or whatever. But I'm clearly taller than 1.2 because I can go on this. Like that's how everything was measured. And then randomly in like middle school or something, or in like whatever you call it. You know, randomly at some point in school, they're just like, oh yeah, I'm like 5 foot now. And I'm like, what does that even... You know, like, it takes so long to conceptualize the system, because meters are easy. Like, a meter is absurdly short, 2 meters is absurdly tall, you know, 1 point, like, and then everyone has, like, a pretty average height, you know, based on your age, especially when you're growing up. Whereas the foot system, it's like, the big 2 heights are, like, 5 foot is short, 6 foot is tall, and apparently every single tiny inch between there makes a big deal. But anyway, so the other annoying thing about the foot system, I'm not sure if this has happened in meters as well, but the most annoying thing is the fact that everyone insists they're a height taller than the other. Literally every single person. It's just an accepted part of the game at this point, that what you do is you just exaggerate. Because, and even I, like if someone just asks me what's your height, no context, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm 5'9" or something like that. And here's the wild thing about it sometimes, is like, then they'll be like, oh yeah, so you sure about that? How often do you measure yourself or something? So they'll be like, you've got to be taller than that or something. Even though I know I'm 5'8" and like a half or something. So I round up as like, well, that's what you got to do in the world we live in. But oh, geez, this guy's gonna be a problem. But so yeah, that's what I do, because it's just what you kind of have to do. And then they'll be like, no, you might be taller than that, because you know I'm 5'9" and I'm shorter than you. And then it's like the whole thing of like, I don't understand how this happened, because I'm sure every other guy must know that they're doing this, but every single person lies about their height. So if you want to fit into the new system, like, if you're explaining to a guy or a girl that knows a lot of guys with heights, you have to add, like, you know, a couple of inches to your height, because otherwise you're going to be giving them the wrong height. Because, you know, if someone asks my height and I say my legit height, which is 5'8" and a bit, or if I say 5'8", they're like, nah, that's not the case. And even if I say 5'9", it's like, that can't be possible. And it really annoys me that, like, we have this system where we have an accurate form of measurements. Also, nailed it. We have accurate forms of measurements for height, and then for some reason, some people are hurt by their measurement and think that just increasing it makes it better. Like, no, because the only thing people care about in the world, unless you're like, you know, with the days of like Tinder and like being able to actually type down your height, maybe that changes things. But this has existed forever, as far as I can tell. Like, it's never changed. That people come up with a different height, and you have to fit in that new system too. Which means we have this accurate system of measurement, which is terrible, by the way, because as I said, I like metric a lot better. I just don't know it anymore because no one ever uses it. Also, there's a speaker around here that's super loud and annoying, but I just can't tell where. So, will it make a up here maybe? Because it's playing oh, there it is. There we go. Nailed it. Okay, so we got that. We did the last little camp. We've got one more commander. We've got like how many more lighters? Like 2. Oh wait. We've got 4 more lighters, which I only see 1 on the map already. So we're gonna go find the rest of those, but that's all fine. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any more that we can actually easily find. We might have to go all the way back to the spawn. Oh, and then there's one over there. So it looks like we are going quite some way back for this. But that's fine, you know, we'll learn some things along the way. We'll go to the river warehouse. We'll go all the way back to spawn for today, just because, like, you know, it's fun to explore the map. I paid $9.59 for this DLC. I'll get it all. But I know, it drives me insane that, like, the measuring system doesn't make sense to begin with, but the way that measuring things in Imperial works. Also, I said I'd get a vehicle to do this whole backtracking, but you know, running through the jungle, it's what this game's all about. But yeah, it's like we have this system that, you know, has supposed accuracy, which it doesn't, by the way, because like the way Imperial actually works is like every country used to have their own system, and now we use a fairly standardized system. But like even then, it's like, and then everyone adds some height to it anyway, because you know why not, right? If you're at the stage, oh man, I'm gonna get spotted so easily here. Yeah, and then everyone just adds their own little. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm spotted. Okay, let's just explode a guy. Oh, I actually can't. Molotov him. Molotovs, save me. Oh no. Okay, easy. So there's lots of people trying to kill me, but as long as they can't succeed, that's all I care about. Yeah, there's a lot of things like this in the world where it's just like everyone lies to each other collectively, and it's like, you know, we could just not do that, right? It's one of the things I think that drives one of my big passions is like, if everyone's just lying in a circle together, or like, the only thing that hurts is the people who can't spot the circle, you know? And in the case of something like height, like a lot of people are like tragically torn apart when they first measure themselves, and then in short, because there's just this accepted thing where like 6 foot is the standard for a medium / tall guy. The average height is 5'8". Fun fact, I'm like like 2/3 of an inch above, or whatever, 3/4. I'm like very very mildly above average. But if I say 5'8", people are like, oh yeah, that's tiny, right? And then when you see me, you're like, okay, yeah, it's pretty normal size. And yeah, it's just like we have the. Oh, I actually died? That wasn't something I was expecting. Hopefully it doesn't drag me all the way back to where I last respawned. I was just like, I'm gonna just run through these people. I don't have any reason to kill them. And they killed me. I think that's mean. I was in this pacifism mode, like, I don't need to kill you. I just need this lighter. That's the incentive system the game gives me. I don't need to fight this war or anything. Oh, I'm all the way back here. And there's no vehicles this early on. They put them in later. Like, it's a slow progression map. Really should have thought about that first, shouldn't I? Like, grabbed a vehicle so I could go back with it. Because we could always drive the vehicle back, but I don't think there's even roads back here, so... Maybe that's not even a good idea. I don't know for sure. I'm just feeling a bit bad. And also, what are these big red marshes? What are they doing here? Why do I feel bad in the smoke but not die? There's a lot of important questions about this. But I'm just not going to snipe anyone. I'm just going to run, go on a little adventure, and yeah, talk more about the fact that we have silly systems set up in the world. It's like I feel like there's a few different things like this, right? I think we all have a system where it's like, okay, everyone. So again, this is like almost political, but it's all right. So Cat's too lazy to make any real political points beyond just I want to mention a system no one ever mentions. But there's a tax system, right? And the tax system is deliberately set up in this massively complex way. I know the IRS in America is famous for having the most complex tax code in the world. It's some ungodly number of thousands of pages, and it's one of the few documents in the world that scores like a negative reading score. Because most things, like if you look at like something meant for children, it's like readability, like 140. If you're like, okay, newspaper meant for dumb people, readability, like 80. And if you're like, okay, smart academic book, it's like in the 30s to 40s, because it's really hard to read, because it's meant to impart information, not to be easy to get into. And then you look at the tax code, and it's like -3 or something, because should we be talking taxes while we do this? Third channel, don't care. I'll do what I want. I'll talk about cats if I want to, and I kind of do actually. But oh, swimming across this is hard. But yeah, so the US tax code is famous for being one of the most complex in the world, and it's like a hidden system where like it takes a while to learn this, but the reason it's set up to be so complex is so that like over various elections, over various terms of people being in office, some people are like, we got to give farmers a break because farmers are a huge voting bloc, and that'll make them like us. And obviously sometimes it's like people are doing it's justified, like farmers are being really hurt by foreign competition, give them a tax break or whatever the logic is at any given stage. Like there always is some theoretical logic. Oh, also we can just sneak up here. That's nice. Oh, this is the mountain. Oh, I thought it was the big old mountain, but it's not. But yeah, like every single one of these things was justified at some point. Most of the time, it was to appease some, it was to appease someone down the line. Like, again, farmers are the most common one, like the whole agricultural subsidies because we need food, except we don't. Whatever, let's not get into agricultural subsidies today. But there's a bunch of examples of this where like instead of just charging people sets amount for sets things, they make a billion exceptions based on profession. I know one of the craziest things about the UK one, for instance, is the fact that at the very start of your tax code, it's like, are you a Lloyd's of London, like the biggest insurer in the entire world, underwriter? And if you are, I don't believe you just don't pay taxes, but you pay under an entirely different system. There's just this first checkbox that's like, don't give us any of the other information if you work for Lloyd's, or if you are a Lloyd's something. And it's like, that is the wildest thing. Like, it's funny because now that you do it online, it's not like a physical form. I can see every single option. They have to explain what this is and like where it comes from. And it's like, what the heck is like, what are taxes? And the simple explanation is that there are a billion ways. You pay as much tax as you want to, almost. Like you have to pay some amount, but there's a billion ways out of it, and the way that laws work is very different around the world. And Look, a wild thing. I like this in the UK a lot. We almost got rid of it, but I'm glad we kept it. But it is like just pandering. So let me talk about one that's for me. Self-employed people in the UK, we pay less. Think of it as health insurance, but it's like countrywide insurance, and it's actually a tax. Again, let's just not question that, okay? But so most people have to pay 12% of their income for this. Again, it's effectively healthcare and your pension, but it isn't actually. Let's just say it is. And because I'm self-employed, I pay 9% instead of 12%. So my effective income tax rate is like 3% lower. And it's like, that's nice. And they tried to get rid of them. People were like, why are you hiking prices on the small businesses? Whereas in America, you have the opposite system. For some reason, at some point, despite being the country of people that are meant to make it, they were like, we could increase taxes on them. And so they did, because they're like, you should pay for employee taxes. So again, it's the wildest thing, like that. You can essentially, oh Jesus, I don't know how they don't see this, by the way, but but it's the wildest thing that every country effectively just decides like who they like, who they don't like, and it's different to what that you claim all the rest of the stuff you do, and you get to just charge them different amounts. And yeah, basically by just playing around with your taxes, you can decide how much you want to pay. Like if you feel like people should pay more taxes, you can very easily pay more taxes. Like there's the famous stories of people that go to the tax office and are just like, here's 500, give it to the government, right? And that's not a thing you can actually do. And people will be like, I want to pay more taxes, but I can't. But the truth is you pay like as much, and there's a like floor to how. Oh, there's a body right here. There's a floor to like how much taxes you have to pay in any given country. But a lot of countries are just like whatever. Then just like we know that like by being like this and by having all these systems, we can give advantages, and we know you might pay something. A lot of countries, even directly, I forget which African country it is, but I saw a pretty big report on it. Their tax system is like, okay, we've got two rates. We've got a 40% rate, and starting 3 years ago, because everyone doesn't pay taxes, we've got a 4% rate. And so the guy's like, I'll pay 4% if you give me the option. There's a billion examples of this, and it's a system where like, if you don't know about it, then you pay because you assume it's forced, and they act like the system is forced. Oh, I'm gonna die because I'm gonna shut off this. Oh, and now I'm definitely dead. At least hopefully I'll get teleported back. Like this might be a faster way back to where I want to be. I'm hoping it doesn't take me back to the lighter, because that would be a real shame, right? It has to take me back to the fortress. Please not the lighter. Please not the lighter. If it's the lighter, I'll go all the way back to spawn and like backtrack the entire thing, because I want this perfect ending, and I want it bad. Okay, it took me back to the lighter. Hate my life now. That's just a thing, right? So yeah, we're going to go all the way back to spawn just in case. Because I reckon... Actually, no, if you look at the mountains, you can see how they're clearly enclosing you in. So we can now head back along the map to where we need to be going, which is over there. It's going to be quite some journey, but that's half the fun. Sorry, I think I heard someone at my door. But yeah, I don't know, one of the things that I hate in like most of life is that kind of attitude and system. Because there's so many in the world of just like, if you don't know about this, you get screwed. Maybe it's kind of like police officers, right? We need enough, and DNA evidence and lie detector tests, another famous example. We need people to think that we have a foolproof way to catch them if they murder someone. We need most people to think, if I was going to murder someone, I'd get caught. Just in case the few percent of people that are both stupid and murderous will be like, I can't murder someone, I'll go to prison for life. They'll find me, I don't know how to clear my DNA evidence. You have to be really smart to get past that. They might make me take a lie detector test and I'd give myself away. We need to have, those systems in place. At least theoretically, I don't know if we really do. That's a whole ethical debate. And I don't know, it's just like, should we not trust people? And maybe in the case of like murder, like you gotta say, just in case, given that the alternative is murder, maybe we shouldn't do this. Also, you don't get to, there's a difficulty that, whatever. Yeah, it's one of the crazy things. And this all came up just because of some height measurement, where like you always have to break it to someone that like, look, I'm taller than you, and I claim to be shorter than you, because really, you've just added some inches to your height, and you've never measured yourself. Which is the worst bit, right? When someone just assumes, like, okay, if 6 foot is tall, I'm almost tall, so I'm 5'11". Or like, if 6 foot is tall, I'm vaguely, maybe almost tall, therefore I'm 6 foot. It's just like, you gotta measure things before you assume. Like, I can't just tell you right now, I make $1 million a year. and you're like, oh, that's nice. That's a lot of money. You don't look like, or you don't live like someone who earns $1 million a year, so you can. You know, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, you see, I've never actually counted how much money I have. I don't actually know how much I get paid either. But it's probably $1 million, yeah? Like, that's an amount that someone could make and would be happy with, and I'm happy with how much I make, and therefore, I make 100 grand a year. Oh, sorry, $1 million a year. And it's like, that's foolproof logic right there. You got me. Have a nice day, man. And it's, I know, there's something wild about being, oh wait, do you see that right there? There's a little temple, which I have to imagine, because I haven't been there, has something in it. So I'm gonna, you know, I think I'm too late. Oh, yeah, we're too late on this. Just in case, because I don't want to have to come back later. Because I'm imagining that you have to, like, physically see somewhere before the thing comes up. Let's go check on the temple. Go undo this little pathway which went on. And I know, there's so many things in the world that are based on assumption. There are so many things that are like whole systems that once you know, you understand. But they're set up so that you're not meant to know them and understand them. It's the whole, like, one of the things that I think most people find reprehensible. I think I'm using that word correctly. If I'm not, then you're not. Whatever. Sometimes I use the wrong words. It's part of the beauty of this channel. One of the things people find, like, reprehensible, that find wrong, incorrect about communist countries is the fact that they would effectively lie to their people so they wouldn't emigrate, you know? They had to lock them in. Oh, my... Really? You know, they had to lie to their people, they had to hide information, and that's the thing that makes you go, well, they're the bad guys, we're the good guys. And although we hide a lot less information, there's a lot of information the government still has to hide from you. Or at least it's assumed that they do. And I think every single time... I don't think there is any need to go to this place, by the way. But I kind of want to do it now that I'm here anyway. Like, let's just get this one done. Because maybe there is something on the inside. Like, why have a temple with literally no reason to be here? Unless it was an AA gun site and I've just cleared the AA gun. So yeah, we'll shoot the rockets ourselves this time. Oh no, we won't. It's all gone. Well, that makes things easy, doesn't it? I guess it's just a source of ammo and a new gun. Oh yeah, that's a cool looking gun. Should we take it? Honestly, I think we should. Like, it probably replaces the Scorpion. Yeah, there we go. Scorpion silenced. That's a good weapon. Don't know why they have silenced weapons in the jungle, but they do apparently. Yeah, so we're talking about. Yeah, I guess honestly the whole reason behind this place was an opportunity to get this gun. Which is cool that every single place in this map has a purpose, even if it's a terrible purpose. But anyway, I was going to say I digress, but I'm coming to the end of this video. I'm going to try and get this out of my head, and I'm glad I got that with today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry if I sound, like, unenthusiastic and stuff, but I don't know if enthusiastic were, but if I sound dead, I can't put the same tonal excitement into every word. But it's something that I can't control. Actually, I mean, you can control, and you control it by not making decisions that lead you here. But you know, that doesn't fit my narrative, so I'm not going to believe it, because you can believe whatever you want as long as you don't measure it, and that sounds like a dodgy statement. So thank you very much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in part 6, which will be the last one, I'm sure. Like, look, there's like not much left to do. So yeah, that'll be 6. What is this, by the way? Look on the map. It's got a weird icon, but is it AA guns maybe? It might be. Like, it's got a weird icon. I guess no, it's just a physical church that looks like an icon because it's white. So next time we'll be getting the last of the lighters. There's one over here, and then probably some on the way there. I don't know. There's some real questions we have to answer because we're missing another 3 lighters still. We're still missing. Did I get that one? We got that one. Okay. Anyway, this is the worst outro in history now. I've ruined it. I've given you all the goodwill. I had a snappy outro, and now it's gone. So have a nice Tuesday afternoon. Goodbye.